Good morning, good afternoon, happy Monday, everybody. I hope everyone's had a productive start to the week. So we're going to get started with a simple topic about productivity. How many times have you ever tried to do something and because of how much you tried to do, you get completely discouraged and you don't want to do it at all? Okay. Now, do you know what confidence comes from? Doing something over and over and over again. So I want you guys to align around this simple concept between now and the end of the year and ideally forever. It's actions versus outcomes. Now, if you have a derived outcome, that would imply that you have project management skills, that you're a systems operator, you know how to build out milestones, checkpoints, know how to measure it as it's going on. Does that sound like the everyday brain of a relationship-driven salesperson? The answer is no, it's not. So here's what happens. A lot of times we get started doing things and we quickly get discouraged because we literally set ourselves up for failure. So remember, your brain is programmed for certainty and comfort. So if you're like, okay, great, I'm going to call every client I've sold a home to in the last year. I'm going to record a video for every Thanksgiving video for everyone. At the end of the day, do those things, are they even realistic and do they actually happen? No. So at the end, what do you leave with? Disappointment. So the next time you go to it, your brain says, stop, stop, stop. This is going to be uncomfortable. It's not certain. It's not going to happen. It's not for me. You don't do anything. And then you just keep going on your way of existing. So what I want you to do is, if you think about it, things that are important to do. Reach out to your past clients, record those Thanksgiving videos, follow up on leads, practice your skills, right? Those are 4 different things. And all I want you to do is block the action in your calendar. Contact your past clients for 30 minutes. Follow up on leads for 30 minutes. Record 30 minutes of Thanksgiving videos. Practice your pitch for 30 minutes or your scripts or whatever conversation you're having. And that's it. See, because at the end of doing it, your brain will say, wow, like this went well. I was supposed to call people for 30 minutes. I called people. It doesn't matter if you're like, I'm going to set this time block for 45 minutes. I'm going to 10 conversations. Do you even know how to frame a conversation for a limited time frame? Do you know how to get people off the phone? Do you know how to measure each call to make sure you're going at a certain pace? It sounds overwhelming as I'm saying it. It's not going to happen. Can you call people up and say, hey, Sarah Weaver, how are you? I got to a doctor's appointment 5 minutes early. It's just drive by your home and thinking of you. What do you plan for the holidays? And do you know how to time that in a way that at the end of 5 minutes, you're like, hey, my doctor just called me. I have to get off and still feel good about it? No, because that's a learned skill. Don't do it. Instead, just say I have 30 minutes. And what happens, happens, and you learn from it as it's going on. Can we all do that? Perfect. So today is going to be our first part. And tomorrow, bring your notepad because you have to write stuff down. So today we're going to talk about this concept called operationalized luxury. Doesn't that sound awesome even as I say it? I get excited when I say it. And what is really a true luxury experience? If you think about it, operationalized luxury is a true luxury experience that anticipates your needs organically and happens before you even have to ask about it. Anticipates your needs and happens organically before you even have to ask about it. All right, so let's have some fun now. Who likes to travel a lot here? Unmute yourself first and just say yes, and is a hotel snob. Meaning they like to stay in the best hotels only.
I definitely like to stay in the best hotels.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So what are some of your favorites?
I like it when they greet you at the front door. They let you in. They walk you over to the desk. They are ready to take everything up to your room for you. They like to... My apologies.
Which hotel brands do you like staying at? What are some of your favorites?
I'm not super snobby about that, you know. I'll do a Marriott, a Hyatt, you know, they all have their luxury brands.
So what's your favorite high-end luxury brand for a hotel?
Oh, I don't know. I don't get out that much. You put me on the spot. I'm blanking.
That's fine. That's okay. Well, look, I'm going to call on someone else, but she did highlight a few important things. Do you notice how they said they walk her to the desk? They carry her stuff. She does it before she could say, "Can you take my bag to the room?" Like, "Hey, Tanya, can we take your luggage to your room? We know you're in room 301C. We'll bring these up. It'll be in your room." Who else travels? Like they like Ritz, Four Seasons.
100 every day, and that's what.
Four Seasons.
And I know most of you are doing it. That's what's. Yeah.
Hold on. Jody, you raise your hand.
Yeah.
The most difficult.
Can you hear me?
Of Israel.
Hold on.
Hi.
For that, I thank all of you, and I hope you continue supporting, because I have to tell you, the channel was the first to help the people. First organization.
Really weird because there's no one in. Do you have like a TV on in the background?
No. Mm-mm.
Did this just get hacked? No, this is weird. Hold on.
Israel and not in the same world that we were.
All right, can we hit mute all? All right, now I'm gonna ask to unmute you. That's weird. Normally I could find the perpetrator. Okay, there we go.
Now?
Yep, now I can. All right. The person talking politics is no longer with us right now.
Okay. Yes, I've traveled the world and I've stayed at the Peninsulas, the Fairmonts, the Omnis, Four Seasons, the Ritz-Carltons.
And what do you really like about those hotels? Why do you choose to go to those and not other ones?
The service, the level of service, the special kind of treatment that you get for the moment.
And what are your expectations of those brands?
Basically that, my needs will be met probably before I even think about them. And there'll be some extra surprises that I wouldn't anticipate.
Perfect. Auberge, that's a great hotel. Now, and how much do those hotels approximately cost tonight?
Now?
Yeah.
1,500 and up, probably.
So look at you, Nathaniel, walking lockstep and barrel here. So here's my point that I want to make to you. Now, if you were paying for those hotels and you had to contact them for basic information, for updates on things they said they were going to do, following up on appointments that you said you're going to make them or information you're going to send, what would you do?
If I would just pick up the phone and someone would answer.
You would not be happy about it, would you?
Oh, no, I wouldn't. And then there would be some kind of accommodation as a result.
Okay, bingo. Welcome to the party. Thank you. You said exactly what I wanted you to say.
Mm-hmm.
Now, think about this. $1,500 for a hotel and a night, and that's what you expect. How much money do you charge your clients and do you make on a buyer side? 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, a $5 million house, you make $100,000, in some cases $150,000. Forget all that stupid stuff of brokerage split, taxes. No one cares about that. They still see a line item going out about that much money. We all need to button up the way we do business. Literally, you should write this down. If your client reaches out to you for something you told them you're going to give them, you failed. So here's the most simple analogy that I can give you in all of this. You have to offer a better service than a $1,500 a night hotel because you get paid that much money. It's one of the biggest challenges in compensation with all this. We get paid all this money, and how many times are our clients calling us, following up with us, asking us questions, unsure about what's going on, complaining about something, right? Expectations and actions. So it's like if you're in our end-to-end program, this is what you love about it. It's literally, when we mapped that out, it was 100 steps. The other day, I recorded 43 videos and I recorded the entire buyer presentation. The buyer portion of this. Here, I'll even give you guys a little something exciting about. Hold on. Let me let's see, where is this? It's going to say empowering your home search to Compass Advantage. That's going to be the name of everyone's new buyer presentation in the future. But why are people hiring you? What are they getting? How well do you navigate the process? How do you make their life easier? How do you utilize technology? How do you help them understand what type of buyer they are? I'm seeing somebody hold something up. What is that? You can unmute yourself. All geared. All geared.
Button up.
What is that?
Button up.
You have an echo.
Oh. It's a button up, Chirag.
Oh, button up. Yeah. All right, cool. Button up your services. I like that. So let's think about what is going to happen. Whether the NAR thing happens or doesn't, I'll tell you, the case is really interesting, right? Because part of Realogy or whatever, Anywhere, or whatever their name is, and Remax's settlement, they've agreed to cooperate against the other brokerages. NAR's defense is saying, how can we be a party to a class action lawsuit when we receive no direct compensation? Then the second thing is saying, yeah, we're requiring people to offer compensation, but no one said that you had to offer out 6%, 5%, or whatever it is. You have people testifying that are familiar with European models where they're not all these costs, comparing them to the values of the homes. So there's a lot of interesting things. I believe we have Trisha here, who's our program manager for end-to-end. She was a former Compass AM, and she moved here from Ireland, where there is no like buyer's agent, right? And she said buying a house was so confusing, she wished that she had an agent, she would have paid for it. Because no one tells you anything. Think about how like challenged a first-time home buyer is with information. And imagine leaving these people on their own. It's a recipe for disaster. But in the end of the day, you're going to have to quantify the service you offer in exchange for the compensation you have. And you better be ready to be better than a Ritz-Carlton. I remember last year at the Compass Retreat, we always compare our services of Four Seasons. I remember sitting there watching dozens of people getting checked into the hotel. And then I was like, let me take my beautiful mind and try to hijack this conversation in every wrong way, which way this person wants to go. And in the end, the woman sat there for 15 plus minutes, redirecting me back to the same predictable experience. And in the end, I said, thank you. I'm a business coach. And I tell our real estate agents that are all here in general on how to mirror this process. It's really amazing how you navigate it. But they remember everything. You want to know why? Because they document it. So every time you go there, they write down what you say. So Jody, they remember it the next time you come back, right? But guess what? Your CRM does that too. There's a button that says log activity, in person, call, text, other. Why can't you do the same thing? They write down all the things you share that are important to you. That's called the note section of your CRM. You need to operationalize luxury where every single thing is accounted for. So here's what I would do if I were you. You see all of these like white sheets here? A lot of white papers, right? That is your whole experience for us. The entire thing needs to be mapped out. So here's what you want to do, whether it's a buyer or seller, put it in different stages, right? And then map out each stage. So when you're looking at one thing, you look at the whole stage. When you're looking at four things, you look at the whole thing together, and then you can figure out what's missing. Every conversation, every single email, every single step. We had an agent on this morning who went on a pitch, who presented the communication plan that all of us have, and explained to her hours, had the client sign it, and at the end of it, she said the woman had tears in her eyes and gave her a big hug. What person, no one wants to hire a luxury service that's a 24-hour service. Did you realize it? They call them emergency clinics. They call them emergency rooms. Who wants to have an experience when they're buying or selling a home that the whole thing feels like an emergency? Nobody. You need to be able to explain things to people in the context that makes sense to them and not be attached to the outcome. can't just say, I can't say to Nathaniel, imagine, Nathaniel, you're buying a house for me. And I said to you, you know what, Nathaniel, don't worry about buying it at an 8% interest rate, because when it goes down, there'll be lots more buyers. So now's the best time to buy. Unmute yourself. Is that really going to make you feel good about what you're doing?
No.
What would you want to hear?
Well, I'd want to hear how it's good for me now, not how maybe I can, maybe it'll be so bad later. I want to hear kind of the positive side of it, how it's good for me now, how it's a win, how I'm doing something good, not how it's just going to be worse later, so you might as well do it now. That's what I heard you say before.
Yeah. So true or false, in some markets, can you negotiate a home today?
True. Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. So look, if it's true in your market, you have to be able to present the data and say, look, if I'm all of you, I'm going to my lenders and I'm getting some form of a chart, or I'm going on Google and finding this, and I'm seeing month over month for the last 12 months what the interest rates are. So when you're looking at properties, you could say, look, when the interest rate was 5%, here's where the days on market were, and here's where the list price and sales price, and here's how much you're getting bidding it up, right? You have to acknowledge the elephant. Listen, I know, in conflict theory, it's kind of like, I know that the price is higher for less home, or you're paying more for the same home than you thought before. I know right now you're feeling very overwhelmed, and this makes sense, and this is the right financial decision for your family. Let me show you what the market was like when the rates were down. And do you think there's some buyers potentially that are waiting for the rates to go down? And they're going to say yes, right? You're in a market that the prices are going up. I'm going to say, look, irrespective of the market, here's the pricing over the last 12 months. Here's the list price, the sales price, and here's the day on market. And here's the trends. And based on the fact that there are only this many inventories, and look, I reached out to the other 3 agents in this price point. The last 3 homes have sold with 15 to 20 different multiple offers. What you have to figure out is this is the right decision for you now, or what the real cost of waiting is. And if that's going to be okay with you paying potentially more in the future. It's the same thing when somebody says to you, I don't want to lower my price. Well, in this thing, somebody's going to set the market. The rest of the people are going to follow the market, and the other people are going to be left with the market. So if you're in an oversaturated area, 5, 7 homes in a subdivision or a building, in the end, if you wait and do nothing, all the comps are going to be the lowest ones, because that's the natural order of selection. But that is operationalized luxury, or anticipating their fears, doubts, and worries and giving them the information in advance. We all need to operate differently. Tomorrow, we're going to go through mapping this out and actually learning how to think about it. So whether you choose to be with us and we give this to you, you choose to figure it out on your own, you have to do something. You cannot keep operating the way you are. Can every single person wholeheartedly look me in the eye and say, if I was buying a home from this entire thing would be buttoned up from start to finish? And that you could explain to me so that I felt good about it? No. Want to know why? Because no one ever told you that you needed to think this way. This should be the first thing that every new agent learns how to do. Now's the time. See, and that's where we start talking about actions versus activities. You can start doing this for 30 minutes a day. Listen, if I were in an office, there are 2 schools of thoughts. The first one is, let me collaborate with other people. How many people are within an hour drive of somebody else in this group? Well, guess what? You better reach out to that person, sit in a room, and do this together. And now let me dispel the stupidest myth that says, well, Chirag's in my sales office. I don't want to do it with him. We might pitch against the same person. Great. Just say, you know what? I would say, Lance, we're both in Miami Beach. We're both coaching with Chirag. Would you be open to building this together? We could share our feedbacks, and can we just make the agreement if we ever have to pitch against with each other, we'll just both tell the agent that we actually collaborate together and grow and learn from each other. And we're happy to just co-broke unless the seller wants different. Why not make an agreement like that and have a partner to grow with every day? And to have logically, how often are you pitching against the people? I know some people that pitch against each other all the time, right? And then that's arguable. But most of you never have to pitch with each other, and the hypothetical idea of you doing it is what holds you back. Now is the time to be an inspired action. All right, so now I want to leave this open for questions. Who here has a question, comment, or concern about our conversation today? Jody.
How do you respond to, in this context, a buyer who's deciding that they want to rent because the market is just too uncertain right now? A ready to go, pre-approved buyer's been searching and made some offers, but too low.
If they want to rent, I'd find out why they want to rent and walk them through potentially this is what the market could be different the following year, and tell them whatever they do to support you 100%. If someone has in their mind made up they want to rent, right, there's a reason for it. And at the end of the day, if they've already made their mind up, the only thing you could do by not going in their direction is lose them as a client. Well, and someone else had their hand up. I see Denise or someone else. Maybe it's Mike. Does that make sense, Jody?
It does, and I've done that already. And then I just thought that you said, oh, some things you just can't control. And kind of just let it go.
You could say, do you plan on buying a year later?
Yes,
right?
that's the plan.
And then you could just say, look, if you go back last year to this year, this is how the values change. If that's something you're okay knowing, that you potentially would have to pay more, then I want to support you 100% either way, but I want to make sure that you have the information. Nathaniel, Denise, I see you're next. Let's see. Did you see the article in Wall Street Journal? This is the worst time to buy instead of rent. I don't know how many people have seen that article. I don't know, but the Wall Street Journal also called NAR a cartel, so that I find that their verbiage easy. Denise, I'm going to look that article up.
Well, that's what I was going to piggyback on what Jody was saying. I read the article really early this morning, and I've been putting out on my social media, renting versus buying, which has been really good. But now this article came out, so I don't know. I know you always say you can't control what you can't control. So anyways, yeah, it's been difficult.
Look, but everyone has, buying is a personalized decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it comes down to why they want to move. And look, a news article is not going to change people's mind. It's just going to put more of their fear up to the forefront.
Right. She has the data a little to back it in the article. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but there's a million different markets in the country that are all different, right? Like someone was telling me in Chicago, who was it? Paige Doley was telling me in Chicago that they're still writing offers 30% above asking.
In California, homes are flying with offers. They're still doing really well over here. So,
and then you go to San Francisco, it's like no one wants to buy any of the houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, I would look at this article. Oh, somebody just
I have the Wall Street Journal member subscription, and I just sent everyone the gift article, so you should be able to open it. This is Arash from Compass DMV. This is an opinion piece, though. I don't think it's a news article.
Yep.
So it's just somebody's, an editor's opinion, not necessarily an editorial news article.
This one says home sellers take on the realtors cartel. Is that the one you meant to send, or the one that Nathaniel referenced?
Maybe I sent the wrong one, but this is the opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal today. Just that calls the National Association of Realtors a cartel.
Yep. So look, these articles just show you even more how much you need to practice and operationalize your business so it makes sense to people. And this is the funny part about this article, is that if they think prices are bad now, there's no sign of more inventory. So in a year from now, it's going to cost more money in some of these markets. So the interpretation of it's the worst time to buy has no context to it. If they looked at it a year ago, they would have said the same thing. Oh, this is terrible. The housing market's an all-time peak. The next one's an all-time peak. I would say to you, look, data is data. There are different factors in moving to a home, right? Like, why are you moving? What do you really want? Do you want to rent a home forever? Are you okay just not getting any tax benefits out of this? Like, there are all these different factors. Equity, right? And you could say if none of those things matter to you, then 100% you should rent. But when you talk and the words used and the tonality, you can't be attached to the outcome. End to end is 100 steps from beginning to end. It's every last single touch point. So don't worry, we have a couple more weeks and we're going to be doing an announcement that we'll share with you what we've done and how all these sheets will end up becoming the most simple, easy year for you. And the thing that I'm most excited about is that our program will have next year, besides more value, it's going to be simplified. Every person will have a personalized path or a flight path based on their goals. So we're trying to essentially figure out how to do is if Candace is in one place looking for one thing, and Denise is looking for something else, and Son Sasso is looking for something else, the three of them, if they all have three different goals, really shouldn't be in the same classes. Right? So look, like constantly, there are two things that are important in anything that you do in any business. It's pattern recognition and pattern implementation. So pattern recognition is finding what the patterns are in your clients and customers. And then pattern implementation is implementing what they actually need. End-to-end buyers who recorded it will have it done before the year is finished. Look, in the end of the day, the thing that you want to understand about your business is it can't fly by the seat of your pants anymore. The word emergency cannot show up in anything you do because people are going to start assimilating, especially if they have to pay you. Because look, there's only three different scenarios. Obviously, your goal is to collect the compensation from the seller. They either pay you what you're charging as a full commission, they subsidize part of it, or they have to pay the whole thing. So in 2 out of the 3 scenarios, they actually physically have to pay money. And if you're expecting that kind of service for a $1,500 night hotel, what are you expecting out of a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 service from buying a home? Perceive value, actualize value. Can we all do this? Reach out to the person that you know closest to you and start doing this together. Listen, collaborative learning has never been more important than it is today. You got a question? I'm going to get your name right. Hold on. Odegair. I don't know where he went. Does anyone else have any questions? Comments, concerns, thoughts, excitements, joys, successes? Look, I'll read this from the group chat. If you're not in the chat, you should join. It said from Sarah, listing appointment went well. She's not going to interview anyone else. I use the MedC to zero in on her motivations. I understand what type of experience she wants. Now I just need to find them a home to move to. Boom. It works. Sarah's daughter, I don't know your name, but thank you for joining us today. All right, look, everyone right now, from what I'm seeing, even down to companies, are just frozen. The outcome isn't like I'm going to learn how to get a buyer to pay me. The action is I'm going to learn to practice how I communicate my value. And everyone here is going to say, imagine you had a thing that just says curated luxury, right? Like that was like your pitch. Why should I hire you? I don't know. Are you looking for curated luxury and the type of experience in buying or selling a home? And they're going to say, yeah, what's curated luxury? Hey, let me show you. Look, in the world that I've dreamed of and is now reality, at the end, pretty soon you'll be able to ask a buyer or seller this. Hey, have you ever wondered exactly what an agent does in exchange for the compensation that you pay? What person is going to want to say no to that? We're going to have lists that you just literally give your clients. If we surveyed 100 home sellers today, the majority would say, I had no idea what my agent did in exchange for the money I paid. It's not clear. But we'll get there because we want to do it and we just want to give it to you. So listen, keep practicing the parts you can do. Share your wins with me. Remember, it's actions over outcomes, operationalized luxury. And remember, true luxury is anticipating somebody's needs and organically having them happen before someone ever has to ask. So as always, love in my heart. I love you all, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bring your notebooks. Bye, everybody.